Hey you guys, this is Holy Sword Temple, and it's an incredibly frustrating dungeon, and one of my friends was really struggling with it. I wasn't actually going to use this footage, but then I realized I might not have any footage in the future where I don't have a Holy Sword attached to one of the sylphs. And so all these sylphs, even though they're very strong, do not have a Holy Sword attached to them. So that means that they cap out BR-wise. Highest BR sylph you can get without Holy Sword is like 530k BR, and that's with ridiculous, awesome Divinity Soul. So all of these are hovering, around 500 to 515k BR. And so that makes the first floor very easy, those three bosses. And I can go in there and help any of my guildies with two 500k plus BR sylphs and get through all three bosses without too many issues. And so I think that's important to, get your guildies up who struggle more, so that they can, make their merge sylphs, and once they merge them, make them, good and more helpful, and that's, a healthy guild environment and all of that good stuff. But for the reality of, most people with merge sylphs, you're going to want to beat this. It is very difficult. So I don't know how. There's so much. I've not cussed at anything in recent history as much as I have cussed at this dungeon. Of just absolutely, violently swearing at it. Maybe a little bit therapeutic. Maybe I will die of an aneurysm tomorrow. But yeah, so it's a very, very frustrating, and you have to maintain just perseverance, determination, and time. Like, those are what you need here after all of the sylph stuff. Obviously, you need 4 merge sylphs, preferably. I have since done this with one player not being a merge sylph, but that was after I had a Holy Sword on, I think, at least one of the sylphs. And I've heard it being done without a merge sylph before somebody had a Holy Sword, but that's very, very difficult and probably took a long time. So yeah, I mean, this is 4 merge sylphs. Do I think it could be done with the group that I'm showing here? Alan is a little bit inexperienced at this point. You saw him use that hammer Delphic at the beginning, which is not a great bet since the mobs weren't done being killed. But yeah, so do I think that team could beat it? By all means, yes. But it would have taken longer, and I just was like, you know what, let's go with something that we know works. And so the first time that I beat this, the first week that the patch was out, this is the second week, we use 2 Friggas, 2 Thors, and that's just how it gets done. The Friggas do the support, the Thors deal the damage. Thor's just so good at dealing damage, and that's how we do things. If you have an Odin, and especially if Odin is your only sylph, you really need to start thinking about how you set that Odin up. A lot of people like AoEs on Odin because he's very helpful in group situations, dealing a lot of big AoE damage. But you're gonna probably want a healing skill on him, like a genuine heal, like the 75% heal or something like that, for Time Portal. And you're also going to want to have either Blessed Fire or the other passive that's the equivalent of Blessed Fire, like plus 15% damage. Just because Odin otherwise is just too tanky. Like, that was the plus. That was like the positive side of Odin before. It was like, oh, Odin's so tanky. He, has all these passives that decrease damage taken. But in this context, it's not that good because this boss, even if you have all 3 of those passives like Alan had, this boss will still kick your ass. So, you just rely on the shields from the Friggas. That's really what's going to get you through this. Also, a lot of luck. But it's just, as far as dealing damage, you need the Odin to churn out more damage. So adding on some passives that will increase damage dealt will definitely help you. That said, your Friggas also have to be a bit coordinated. Talk to your teammates. The weakest team that I've heard beat this was on the test server, and their Friggas tend to not have all the advanced sepulchrum filled out, and so they went in with 4 Friggas with like 420k BR. And we're able to beat this. And that's just teamwork, just talking to each other, or playing multiple tunes, and timing the shields well and the heals well, and just tanking, turtle your way through this. But no matter what, you do have to still churn out a good chunk of damage in a timely manner, because he'll buff up and just wipe everybody out rather quickly. So yeah, there are a lot of different strategies you can do to go about this, but I think the most straightforward is having 2 supporters, like 2 Friggas, and 2 damage dealers. So if one of your damage dealers is an Odin, or both, you're really going to want them to have that Hammer Delphic, you're going to want them to have Endless Engulf, and you're going to want them to have some passives that help them increase the amount of damage that they deal. Because if they're too tanky, there's just nothing you can do once that boss buffs up. Or only so much you can do. You can last like maybe a few turns, but not anything much more than that. So tanking isn't going to help you toward the end game of this. So that's my advice, is just offense and support. Have very clear roles, which is how this game is supposed to be set up. Like, games like this are supposed to have, like, you have your medics, you have your artillery, you have, like, your offensive people, your tanks and things like that. And you need clear roles in this, and so it's sort of going back to maybe how most games are set up, rather than just whatever is strongest will win, how highest BR will win. You do need to be set up in a particular way in order to make this happen. So yeah, I mean, that's all I have for Holy Sword Temple, or I probably have maybe more tips in my head that I'm just not thinking of at the moment. If you guys want help thinking about, which passives or which skills for particular sylphs, go ahead and ask me in the comments. I'll try and help you guys whenever I can. And if there's anything in particular you want me to show, or if you have tips for the players that you want me to illustrate for everybody, please go ahead and mention them, and I'll try and figure something out. So thanks for watching, you guys. Take care, and have a very good day.